Hey there folks, this is DMC Jedi Man, and I'm coming to you with another video. Today's video is going to be a review, because today I have watched the brand new movie that aired on Disney+. It aired today, which is May 20th, 2022. And of course that video is that movie is the Chippendales Rescue Rangers movie. Now, I'm a big Disney Afternoon fan, particularly of Darkwing Duck, but I'm also into some of the other shows, DuckTales, Rescue Rangers, Tailspin. Hell, I even liked Bonkers as a kid. I haven't watched it in 30 years, so I might not be such a fan anymore of that. I'll have to revisit it someday. And of course, I love Gargoyles as well. Can't forget that one, but we're here to talk about Chip and Dale and maybe some of the other shows. We'll see where we go. First off, before I go any further, this is the spoiler-filled review. I haven't decided yet if I'm doing a spoiler-free review for this one or not. So if I do, obviously, I'll have that up on the channel as well. If not, then this will be it. Obviously, do not continue watching this until you have seen Rescue Rangers, because I'm going to be dropping a lot of spoilers. I'm going to be going in depth in the movie, saying what I liked, what I didn't like, what kind of worked and kind of didn't work. I will say, before we get to the point of no return, that I actually did enjoy the movie. I wasn't entirely sure I was going to. The first trailer I saw for it, I said it was either going to be really good or really bad. The second trailer did not leave me with a lot of hope. The second trailer was kind of muddled and bad, but the movie exceeded my expectations. I wouldn't say it's a great, like one of the timeless legend films. I think it was really well done for what it was. Don't forget, if you like my content, to be sure to like and subscribe and keep your eyes peeled for what videos I have next. But we're going into spoiler territory in 3, 2, 1. Chip and Dale! Okay, so spoiler time has been activated. As I open my Dr. Pepper that has a Tyrannosaurus Rex on it, which is awesome. Okay, so the movie starts off with the filming of a new of one of the last episodes of Rescue Rangers. It very well may have been an actual episode they were showing that they were filming, but I'm not entirely sure. Afterwards, it's revealed uh, that Dale is trying to get his own spin-off show, Double O Dale, which should sound very, somewhat familiar to fans of the Disney Afternoon, because there was a DuckTales episode called Double O Duck, where Launchpad was a spy, and it was also, the Double O Duck was also the working title for what became Darkwing Duck. So, nice little reference there. So, Dale decides to go for this, spin-off, saying that it won't affect the Rescue Rangers. Of course, the Rescue Rangers get canceled, and Dale's spin-off is canceled after the pilot. So, essentially, the Rescue Rangers went their separate ways. We find out that, many years later, Dale, he has a massive collection of memorabilia from the show. A lot of it real stuff. I saw like the NES games, some of the figures and stuff. There's also things I'm not sure were real, like the Pogs. I'll have to look into that. I'd love to get a set of those Pogs. But we find out that he's been working the convention scene, and keep in mind, folks, there are Easter eggs galore. Lots of cameos from characters. Like a couple of the big ones in the convention area. And one of the better jokes that pays off, we find out that one of the people getting, signing autographs is the bad movie version of Sonic. The Sonic the Hedgehog that had a realistic face and human teeth, that abomination. Yeah, he's a character in this. He's actually one of the jokes that surprisingly fits well. And you got Tigra or Tigra, I forget how it's pronounced, from I think from Thundercats. You know, she's also there, but Dale's been, or yeah, Dale's been doing the convention scene, and you know, he's asked about Chip, and Chip apparently has been selling insurance, and he has his own little tiny house. Oh, actually, I kind of forgot. The movie actually started with Chip and Dale meeting as children in school. You know, Dale tries to be the class clown. It backfires, and Chip ends up finding him in the cafeteria, sitting down with him, and he has a Knight Rider lunchbox. That's kind of cool. Anyway, back to our where we are currently and what I was saying. So, Chip has his own little house, and he lives there with a dog, and he and Dale both get a phone call from Monterey Jack, who's apparently in a spot of trouble. So Monty calls both of them, doesn't tell the other one that he called each one. So they both show up, not expecting the other one to be there. And it turns out Monty's in trouble because he took a loan out to get cheese because, he's addicted to cheese. Cheese. So he, and there's a subplot about Toons being kidnapped, and this plays into this because, you know, after Chip and Dale leave, Monty does indeed get, kidnapped, and Chip and Dale now have to team up to find him. And they enlist the help of Ellie, I think her name is. She's a cop who is a huge fan of the Rescue Rangers TV show. So she gives them some leads to start tracking down, and they they they're after someone. I think the name was Skinny Pete or something like that, or Smelly Pete. And it's not the Pete you'd think. You'd be forgiven to think that Pete means Pete from Goof Troop or other Mickey Mouse lore, but no. The Pete they're after is actually a Peter Pan that has seen better days. I mean, we've all heard the joke about Peter Pan, being kind of, pedophilic. This one looks disturbingly close to what you'd think a pedophile looks like. Like, I would not be surprised to hear he's been in a van trying to lure people. Anyway, though, so they end up finding his place, getting trying to get to the bottom of where Monty is, and uh, the the movie started out a little slow. It picked up speed a little later, but it's a little muddled. So bear with me. I may be skipping sections. I know it's not very professional. Like, well, you know what? In order to make sure this works out good, I'm gonna look up a little synopsis to make sure I'm not forgetting anything. So bear with me for just a moment, as well as with my slow computer that likes to freeze anytime I try and do stuff on it. Nothing like a delicious Dr. Pepper. Okay, I found the there it is. I found the wiki for the film. This more than likely will have been updated today to have a synopsis. Or maybe, okay, there is a plot. Okay. Let's see. Oh, Sweet Pete. That was the name of him. So they, let's see. Okay, so yeah, Chip and Dale go to the cheesemonger to where Monty Jack had been buying his cheese and asked to see him. Oh yeah, that was a neat little thing. So they were taken to the Uncanny Valley part of town, which is where all the almost human but not quite human things end up. Think your early, 90s, 2000 video games where they almost look human, but they just have that dead stare. So they get to Sweet Pete's factory, which produces porta potties from unsold toy stock. They're making toilets out of toys. So Sweet Pete, who's Peter Pan, is there, and he's got two henchmen, Bob the Viking, who's one of those uncanny valley types, and a polar bear named Jimmy. So they capture the pair, or they try to capture the pair, I should say, but they escape. You know, we find out after they've gotten away and reconvened with Ellie that there was a bad tip at one point that led to Ellie being kind of disgraced. And Dale, of course, remembers that Sweet Pete has a fitness tracker that can show them where they're going. So they they go and steal the fitness tracker and you know, trace where he is to a dock warehouse, and they find a huge container full of things related to all the Toon kidnappings, including Monterey Jack's mustache. Uh, they get stuck in this machine, and they narrowly avoid getting you know rearranged. Though I can't remember if this is where Chip gets a Snoopy ear or not, because he gets a Snoopy ear at one point. Could have been worse. He could have had a dog nose as a butt. That was something that was going to happen. So they go to the police station, and they they find out, they smell the scent of Monty's cologne, which no one uses, and they figure it to be either Captain Putty or Ellie. Of course, they think it's probably from Ellie. So they go they go to FanCon and convince Ugly Sonic to get help from the FBI. And then the villains show up and chase them around. There's a lot more references. Some of the big ones. There's a there's the main six from My Little Pony that show up. There's Skeletor and He-Man. Baloo's there, which is kind of neat, though he looks nothing like the Tailspin Baloo. I feel they were going more for his appearance in the Jungle Book live action movie. So Bob ends up, or the Viking guy, Bob, gets caught by Tigra and Lumiere, the candlestick from Beauty and the Beast. But Chip is caught by Jimmy and Pete, and they take him back to the warehouse. Ellie's lured by Captain Putty there, and it's revealed that Captain Putty has actually been working with Pete as part of the bootleg ring. Because the whole thing they're doing is they're using this machine to make the famous tunes in the bootleg looking versions, so they can force them to make bootleg movies to sell and make millions. Pete forces Ellie to call Dale to convince him to come to the warehouse alone to save Chip from being erased. But Ellie sends a code telling Dale what her favorite episode is. Dale misinterprets the clue, but does get that she's in trouble, and decides to reach out to Gadget and Zipper, the remaining two Rescue Rangers, to see if he can get help flying there in the Rescue Ranger plane. Now, Gadget is just as pretty much how you remember, aside from an outfit change. Like, I'm pretty sure she's voiced once again by Tress MacNeille, which is awesome. However, in one of the moves of the film that actually I think really doesn't work and is kind of disturbing, Gadget and Zipper presumably are married and have a ton of fly mouse hybrid children. Fly mouse hybrid children created by Gadget and Zipper mating are probably among one of the things I don't think I ever wanted to see. One of those kill it with fire kind of things. So Gadget and Zipper fly, Dale to the location, you know, where they need to rescue the folks, and Dale makes his way into the warehouse using a firework. Firework causes the machine to overload and explode, turns Jimmy the Viking into a fairy, and it turns Pete into like a fusion of a bunch of different tunes and makes him more powerful. Like, I know he's got Wreck-It Ralph's arm. I think he's got like a Transformer leg, and they flee to the docks, and using a ploy from one of the episodes are able to trap Pete. And the FBI shows up, led by Ugly Sonic. And Chip and Dale, they reconcile and apologize for their behaviors. And the FBI are in the process of securing people, but Pete has one more trick up his sleeve. He fires a cannonball at Chip, though Dale heroically leaps in front to save him. And at first you think he might be dead, but he's alive because he had the last Pog in his collection that he had been given by Chip that saved his life. They find out where all the kidnapped tunes are, and there's a bunch more references there, including the second of two cameos by Bonkers D. Bobcat. I hope you enjoyed seeing him again, Will. And Monty's there too. He's been operated on to be a bootleg version of Dumbo. The full team is reunited, and Ellie, fanboys over him for a bit and then admits she wants to open her own detective agency. And then, the thought of a reboot's brought up again, and, they say they'll only do it if they see a script first. And then during the credits, there's a bunch of different little scenes, gags, and things. The biggest one, though, is they're at the Chipmunks or the Rescue Rangers are at I think it's a show promoting something. I forget what it is. But you see Darkwing Duck, and he's like, "We want Darkwing! We want Darkwing! We want Darkwing!" It's like, yes! And he's voiced once again by the awesome Jim Cummings. Jim also came back to voice Winnie the Pooh. So there were a lot of interesting little references. Obviously, Darkwing is the big one. Talk about some of the voice cast now. So John Mulaney and Andy Samberg as Chip and Dale. They do work well off each other. Will Arnett voiced Sweet Pete, and he is as creepy as you want him to be. Oh, wow. Eric Bana played Monty Jack. Huh. I didn't realize that was the Hulk's voice. J.K. Simmons was Captain Putty. Huh. Didn't know that. I think Kiki Lane, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. She brought, a lot of heart to the movie. I loved seeing, the inclusion of someone who was a big fan. Oh yeah, I forgot about the DJ Snake and that they had to distract by doing a rap number, but at least they called it out that it was kind of Oh, McNeil. Not only did she do Gadget, but she also voiced Chip's chipmunk voice. The main one. That's Oh yeah, Zipper has a weird voice. Like I didn't expect him to have like any kind of a voice, let alone like a deep voice. Let's see. Oh, Corey Burton reprised the role of Dale's chipmunk voice briefly, and Zipper's unintelligible buzzes. Uh, oh, wow. Okay, I have a little egg on my face. I erroneously thought Tigra was from. That's right, Chitara, who was from Thundercats. Yeah, Tigra's from Avengers. Wow, I feel like I should be turning in my nerd card. In terms of some of these. Oh yeah, David Tennant. I forgot to mention Scrooge Mcduck showed up. It's the 2017 version of him. Also, Scrooge's face is on the money. That's another neat little cameo. Yeah, I love that little. They have a Disney Afternoon poster. I forget where I saw it. I think it was when they were in FanCon. You know, it's this poster for the Disney Afternoon that it it's like Disney Afternoon fight something. It's got Darkwing on it. He's the only one from Darkwing Duck. I saw Goliath. I saw Goofy, and I think Max from Goof Troop. But all the Rescue Rangers were on there. Baloo was on there. Uh, let's see. In terms of other cameos, uh, Linda Flynn, Phineas and Ferb's mom, made an appearance. Uh, Doc McStuffins was in it. I mean, there's way. Oh yeah, Randy Marsh from South Park was in it. That was kind of a weird cameo, as was two of the cats from the 2019 Cats film. It also says Robert Crumb's Mr. Natural. Wow, the fact they would include anything from R. Crumb, holy shit. Pete shows up. Oh yeah, Fat Cat and Nummel or Nimnal, I believe, are in there at some point as well. Uh, yeah. Also, let's talk about the song because they did have the new version of the Rescue Rangers theme in the credits. It didn't sound bad. Ultimately, if I were to give this score a, if I was to score this film based on the gas gun canisters we use in the St. Canard files, I would give this a solid 3 or 3.5 out of 5. It's a good film. It does take a bit getting going. Like it feels a little too slow up until when Monty gets kidnapped. That's when it starts picking up. You know, it's not a bad film though. It certainly was better than my expectations of it. Though my initial view that it was going to be really good or really bad, I guess was not correct. It was just kind of in the middle. A decent film for what it is. Again, I will warn you though, it is not a sequel to the Rescue Rangers cartoon. And it is not done in that style. So if you go in expecting the same things that you got in the Rescue Rangers cartoon, you will be disappointed. As many others have said, I would liken it a little more to Roger Rabbit than Rescue Rangers. It's a good film, and I do think it works well. I hope when they do the Darkwing reboot, they do go a different direction than this because this works for what it is, but I don't want to see Darkwing get this exact same treatment. Overall, the story was fun and engaging. There were a lot of jokes, you know, some of which worked really well, others kind of fell flat. Uh, the villain was decent, though I will say anyone who's a big fan of Peter Pan will probably feel a little wronged by this film's portrayal of him. Uh, I think the cameos were fun and didn't really take away from it. Like there's a lot of cameos, yes, but there's a fair amount of them that are either in the background or are integral to the story, and a large amount of this is a world that is inhabited by humans and toons, so you have to expect you're going to see both things represented. The only thing that really, really didn't work, I feel, in this film is Gadget and Zipper's relationship. I'm not necessarily saying that Gadget should have been with Chip or Dale, but I think she should have been with another mammal at least. You know, someone maybe even more her size. Like just the idea of a fly and a mouse mating it's got ick all over it. So those are my thoughts. Now that I've done this, I don't think I'm going to do a spoiler-free review, just because it's kind of hard to talk about this film without spoiling something. So this review is going to be it. I will put some text on the screen or something when I make this to let people know no spoiler for free review will be made. But I hope you've enjoyed this look into it. If anyone wants to know my thoughts on anything else to do with this movie, leave your comments, questions below, and I will answer them to the best of my abilities. This has been DMC Jedi Man, and I am signing off. Stay dangerous, everyone. Peace.